Welcome to the bridge course program. Let us see what we have learnt in the previous classes about the topic sense organs. Students, how do we sense the changes around us? What organs are useful for learning about this world from our birth to death? So, children, for example, you do not know about avocado. So, how do you get the knowledge of that avocado? By listening about it and by seeing the image or by tasting the avocado yourself. So, we get the knowledge by hearing, seeing, tasting and sensing it, feeling it. So, these are expressed through the sense organs. So, the gateways of knowledge we call it as sense organs. So, how many sense organs do we have? 5 sense organs are there. What are they? Eye, nose, ear, skin and tongue. So, let us see one by one and how they are useful sensing the knowledge or knowing the things about around us. First one is eye. Eye is useful for us seeing things around us. Our sense of sight helps us see the world around us. We use our eyes to look at colors, shapes and sizes of objects. When we look at things, light enters our eye and sends messages to our brain. Brain shows the image what we are seeing. See here, you can see the eye here, external feature of our eye. In the eye, in the middle, you are seeing the ball. This ball is in lightish brownish green color. In the middle of the ball, you are seeing black circle. So, the brownish green color part is iris and the black one is pupil. So, when we are in dark place, this pupil size is very larger. When we comes to the light area, bright area, then this pupil size become smaller. Why the pupil size is becoming larger and smaller? Based on the intensity of light. When the bright light is there, pupil size becomes smaller. When it is dark, pupil size is becoming bigger to allow the light into the eye. So, it is extending based on the light. So, we will see in the later on slides why the pupil size is becoming larger and smaller. So, this is the internal structure of the eye. So, the sensory part, the important part of the eye which enables us to see the things around us is retina. So, what happens? You see here cornea, below the cornea, behind the cornea you see the iris part and lens part. So, what happens? This lens focuses the image on the retina. So, what happens when the image focused on the retina? Retina has cells, sensory receptor cells. Those cells receives the information and those cells converts the information as electrical signals. So, let us see that process in the video. How does our sense of light helps us understand the world around us? Can you explain how our eyes work like cameras? We will see that in this video. See how our lens, this is the lens. So, how the lens is adjusting based on the distance we are seeing the objects. So, if the object is near to us, how our lens look like that, look there. So, and the object which we are seeing which is far, so the shape of the lens and the size of the lens you can see. So, here it is far, so the lens size is bigger. If the object is nearer, you can see the lens size becomes smaller. So, when the image is recorded on the retina cells convert the information as electrical signals. That electrical signals given to the optic nerve. Optic nerve given that information to the brain. So, brain receives that information and analyzes that and shows the picture which is in front of us. That is how we see the images. So, when we read, always read in a sufficient light. How to take care of our eyes? We need to keep in mind to proper care of our eyes. So, always read in sufficient light, neither very bright or dim. See that while reading, the distance between the book and your eyes is about 30 centimeters. That means we need to maintain the 30 centimeters distance between our book and eye. And the second one is do not read while travelling in bus or train and other vehicles. This is very much important. Nowadays people are always watching something in the mobile phone while travelling in the bus. Always watch the television with sufficient light in the room. We must not watch TV for too long and from very near. Care must be taken that the distance between the television and our eye must be not less than 2.5 meters. So, the distance we should maintain between the TV and us is 2.5 meters. If you are not able to see the letters on the blackboard, you must inform your teacher. Do not use the handkerchief or handkerchief and towels used by the person suffering with eye infections like conjunctivitis. So, you know what is conjunctivitis? We commonly call it as kalla kalaka. Kallu erraga ayipoyi oosul baga vastuntayi kada danni conjunctivitis antam. So, we should not have the direct contact with the people who are suffering with the conjunctivitis. Consult an eye specialist or doctor if irritation, redness, watering and burning sensation of eyes persist, or while reading if you are not able to see the letters clearly and properly. So, which doctor we need to consult if you have any eye problems? We need to consult the doctor who is ophthalmologist. Ophthalmologist is the specialist in eye problems. So, this is about eye. So, we have seen up to yet how eye works, how can we see the things around us. Now, let us see how ear works. So, what is the use of ear? So, ear is useful for hearing things, hearing sounds. Our sense of hearing helps us listen to sounds all around us. We use our ears to hear different noises like people talking, birds singing and cars honking. When sound waves enter our ears, they travel to our brains, which then help us to understand what we are hearing. We can hear the sound of rain falling, music playing and our friends laughing, etc. So, what happens? We will see. Can you describe how sound waves travel from our ears to our brains? Let us understand this with the help of video. So, children observe here. You are observing the structure of human ear. This is the external ear, we call it as pinna, and if we deeply if we travel inside the ear, this is the auditory canal. Generally we put pins in that, and this is the most important one part, tympanum. Yes, eardrum or tympanum, we commonly call it as karnaberry. So, tympanum is connected with 3 bones, hammer, anvil and stirrup. So, these 3 are important bones present in the middle ear. When comes to the inner ear has cochlea, oval window and auditory nerve. So, what happens when we hear sounds? When sounds are occurring in front of us, those sounds are captured by the external ear, that is pinna. See how the external ear is capturing the sounds, sound waves. So, that is passes to the tympanum or eardrum. So, eardrum passing that information, that sound vibrations to the middle ear. That middle ear part is comprised of 3 bones. So, these 3 bones amplifies that sound. That means sound adi penchutai anamata, manam vinna sound kanta danni ekku chestayi, these 3 bones. So, these 3 bones, middle ear part is connected with the inner ear part, that is cochlea, and these 3 are semicircular canals. See, sound waves reaches the eardrum. So, middle ear amplifies the vibration from this. This vibration is given to the cochlea. Cochlea converts that vibration into electrical signals. That electrical signals transmitted to brain through the nerve. So, that nerve is, you can see the nerve here, this nerve is connects with the brain. So, when brain receives the information, brain analyzes that and we hear the sound. So, this is how we hear the sounds. So, how much frequency of sounds we can hear? Hearing range describes the frequency range that can be heard by humans or other animals, though it can also refers to the range of the levels. The human range is commonly given as 20 to 20,000 hertz. That means, we can hear the sound in between 20 to 20,000 hertz. Beyond the 20,000 hertz, our ear can't able to bear those sounds. Below the 20 hertz of sound, we can't able to receive that sounds. Children, we will learn about the fascinating facts of bats in hearing sounds. So, bats are experts at flying in the dark, but most of them do not rely on their eyes. So, what they do? They use something called echolocation. In that, bats make high pitched sounds as they fly. These sounds bounce off objects like trees, insects, and the echoes return to the bat. So, based on the echoes, bat recognizes what is there in front of it. That may be the prey or that may be the obstacle. So, by that echo, bat recognizes the sound and hunts its prey. And some bats have bright eyesight also. Precautions to be taken to protect our ears. Take proper care to prevent water from entering the ears. Clean your ears with a clean cotton cloth. Do not use hairpins or matchsticks to clean the ears. That means, we are keeping the ear pins or matchsticks in the auditory canal. So, we should not do that. The doctor who treats the problems of ears, nose and throat is called an ENT doctor or ENT specialist. Children, we will see about another one sensory organ, that is skin. Skin is useful for us to sense the touch. So, all the parts of our body are covered by the skin. Do you know what is the use of skin? Skin protects all parts of our body. It is the sense organ for touch. We can feel heat, cold, hardness, softness, etc. through skin. When we touch objects, tiny nerves in our skin send messages to our brains, which then help us understand what we are feeling. List the following parts of the body with a reference to the thickness of skin in the order of less thickness to more thickness: forehead, sole, palm, eyelids, chin, waist. So, children, you have seen skin is useful for the sensing heat, cold, roughness or softness. Thickness, less thickness to more thickness are parts of our skin is forehead, sole, palm, eyelids, chin and waist. Can you explain how nerves in our skin send messages to our brain when we touch something? If you observe the internal structure of skin, you see these parts. So, the dermis parts has the sensory cells. So, these sensory cells like Pacinian corpus cells, these cells like other pain receptor cells, heat receptor cells are there in the dermis. Those cells receives the information while we are touching the objects. So, that information is given to the nerves which are connected to the skin. So, those nerves carry that information to the brain, and our brain analyzes that information and it sends signals to us, and we feel that it is hot, it is cold or something like that. So, skin is the largest organ in the human body. It covers an area of 1.5 square meters and weighs 4 kilograms. If skin is not kept clean, skin diseases may occur. Most of the skin diseases are contagious. So, generally in schools, in primary classes, children suffer with this type of skin disease. We commonly call it as 𝗪𝗪𝗓. That is called, we call it as scabies. So, it is a contagious disease. One more interesting fact about skin is fingerprints. So, fingerprints are found due to the ridges and grooves present in the skin of the fingers. Take your fingerprint and that of your friends on a white paper and observe them. Are they similar? no two persons in the world will have the same fingerprint and lines on the palm. So, that is why for any authentic recognition we use our fingerprints. For Aadhaar also people take the fingerprints. So, precautions to be taken care to protect our skin. So, what we need to do? Have a bath twice a day, every morning and evening with a soap and water. While taking bath, rub the skin thoroughly. This helps in removing the dead cells and make the skin shine. Drinking lot of water helps in replenishing water lost through sweat. Sweating releases the waste and it is sent out through skin freely. Skin also becomes smooth. The doctor who treats the diseases occurs to skin are called dermatologist or skin specialist. Children, now let us see one more sensory organ, nose. What is the use of nose? Our sense of smell helps us notice different scents in the air. We use our nose to smell things like flowers, food and even our favorite toys. When we breathe in air through our nose, tiny smell receptors inside our nose send messages to our brain, which then help us understand what we are smelling. So, we will understand with the help of this picture. So, here you are seeing our internal nose, that is internal nasal cavity. That means, when we take the air in, where it goes? Here. So, that air passes on this nasal cavity. So, in this nasal cavity, here is membrane, mucous membrane is there, and in this nasal cavity the cells are there. Those cells are called as olfactory receptor cells or the chemoreceptors. When we inhale the air, in air there are some chemical particles present. That chemical particles are received by this olfactory receptor cells present inside the nasal cavity. That olfactory receptor cells gives that information to the olfactory nerves. You can see here in the picture yellow color lines. So, these olfactory nerves converts that information as electrical signals. That electrical signals are given to the olfactory tract, that is sent to the part of the brain. Their brain analyzes the information and brain make us to feel whether it is a bad smell or good smell. That is how we can sense the smell. So, we should not breathe in air with our mouth. Why? If we inhale the air with the mouth, what happens? The particle and the dust and all the microbes which are present in the air enter through our throat. So, that will create that will cause the disease. So, what happens when we inhale through nose? Nose has the mechanism, defense mechanism. What happens in the nose or in the nasal cavity? The air which we are inhaling, those nasal cavity obstructs the dust particle in the nasal cavity. Why? In the nasal cavity we have hairs. In the nasal cavity we have hairs. అంటే నేసల్ క్యావిటీలో వెంట్రుకలు ఉంటాయి అన్నమాట. మనం గాలిని తీసుకున్నప్పుడు ఏమైతే గాలిలో ఉండే డస్ట్ అంతా కూడా దాన్ని అక్కడ ఆపేస్తుంది. సో ఆ డస్ట్ అంతా అక్కడ ఆగిపోవడం అలాగే ఎయిర్ అనేది ద టెంపరేచర్ ఆఫ్ దట్ ఎయిర్ కంట్రోల్ టు అవర్ బాడీ టెంపరేచర్. సో దట్స్ హౌ నోస్ controls the temperature of air and controls the microbes and dust particle in the nasal cavity. So, if we inhale the air through our mouth, those control mechanism is not there in the mouth. That is why we feel throat infection. When we catch cold, we can't identify different smells. What happens if we catch cold? In the nasal cavity, the mucus is completely filled with mucus. So, that is why the olfactory receptor cells are not able to identify the chemicals which are present in the air which we are inhaling. That is why we can't able to sense the smell. How is the sense of smell useful to us? So, when we if we are able to see the sense, if we are able to sense the smell, then only we can enjoy the things which we are eating. So, smell and taste are closely intertwined with each other. So, smell enhances the taste of food. Why do we catch cold? Because of the microorganisms which enter through the nasal cavity or the respiratory tract through the air which we are taking in. Now, let us see another one sense organ, that is tongue. Tongue is useful for tasting things or food items. Our sense of taste helps us enjoy different flavors of food. We use our tongues to taste sweet, sour, salty and bitter things. When we eat food, tiny taste buds on our tongue sends messages to our brain, which then help us understand what flavors we are experiencing. So, here you can see these are the papillae. So, if you observe our tongue closely, you can see the round ball like structures on our tongue, those are papillae. In each papillae, we have thousands of taste buds. Those taste buds are useful for identifying the tastes of food which we are taking in. You can see here, these are the papillae. In each papillae, you can see like this structures, taste buds. So, we will understand how we can sense the taste of food items with the help of this video. So, tiny bumps on the tongue called papillae. In each papillae, we see thousands of taste buds. Each taste bud contain 50 to 100 receptor cells. Those are specialized in detecting different kinds of taste which we are already discussed. So, sweet or salty chemicals trigger the special cells or receptor cells, taste buds present on the papillae. So, that information is given to the nerves which are connected to the receptor cells. That information is converted as electrical signals, and that electrical signals are transported to the brain, and brain immediately gives the information that this is tasty and this is sweet and this is salt. Take a piece of any fruit and keep it on your tongue and tell it is, take a piece of any fruit and keep it on your tongue and tell its taste. So, will you able to tell the taste of fruit just by keeping it on your tongue? No, we can't able to do that. When will we taste it? By chewing it. When we chew the food, what happens? The chemicals present in the food releases into our mouth and mixes with our saliva, that washes the taste buds. Then only we can feel the taste of that our food, taste of that food. So, now take another piece of the same fruit and chew it well, and now tell how it tastes. That is how I explained. So, do you know how many teeth we have? Are all the teeth similar? So, I told you, no, by only keeping the food on the tongue, it not only it just not, I told you that keeping the food on tongue not gives the information of taste of it. We have to chew it, and that chemicals present in that food should be mixed with saliva, then only we can taste, we feel the taste of that food. So, teeth playing the role here, and also the palate. Palate means you can feel it when you మీ నాలుకని పైకి మడిస్తే మీకు పైన ఫీల్ అయ్యేదాన్ని మనం ప్యాలెట్ అంటాం. ప్యాలెట్ ఈజ్ హార్డ్ ఇన్ ద ఫ్రంట్. ఇఫ్ యూ మోల్డ్ యువర్ టంగ్ upperward, you feel the palate. That palate is hard in the front, and you move your tongue backwards, you feel the soft palate. So, palate, tongue, teeth and saliva, these are all plays the role in tasting food items. So, we will see the shape of arrangement of teeth. See, these are the different teeth we have. So, in adult 32 teeth are there. So, in upper jaw 16 teeth are present, in lower jaw 16 teeth are present. You can see, are all the same in shape? No, they have different shape. Why they are in different shape? Based on its function, their shape is organized. So, let us see what these teeth do. So, the front teeth, and in this one you can see it is sharp. So, the type of teeth you can see the incisors. Where are incisors? These are the incisors. What these incisors do? They cut the food. They are useful for cutting and biting food. The shape of it is flat and sharp edge. How many teeth we have in upper jaw? 4 teeth are there. In lower jaw, 4 teeth are there. You can see incisors are 4 in the upper jaw. Here also 4 in lower jaw. The second one is canines. Canines are pointed and sharp. Here you can see the canine, this one is the canine. How many are there in the upper jaw? 2, in lower jaw 2. So, what is the use of these canines? They are useful for tearing food. If we see the carnivores like tiger, lion, these canines are very sharp and long. Premolars. Premolars are flat with ridges. They are 4 in upper jaw and 4 in lower jaw. Crushing and grinding. These are useful for grinding the food. Molars, broad and flat with ridges. These are 6 in upper jaw. These are also useful for grinding and chewing the food. So, how to take care of our teeth? So, what we need to do? So, brush your teeth every day in the morning and before going to bed. Twigs of Echinacanthus, that is Uttareni, and 𝗪𝗓 indica, that is Kanuga, neem and acacia babul are used to brush the teeth, or use toothpaste, powder and toothbrush are also used for cleaning. Generally nowadays we are using toothpaste and brush, but what our forefathers and our grandparents used, these are the twigs of neem. They used the twigs of neem. వేప పుల్లలు, దాని తర్వాత కానుగ పుల్లలు, ఉత్తరేణి, ఇలాంటి వాటిని వాడేవాళ్ళు. The doctors who treat the diseases of the teeth are called dentists, or is called dentist. We will learn a detailed study of these sense organs in the 9th class. We will see each and every sense organs, the external structure, internal structure, and how it functions, and what are the defects, what are the diseases people feel to these sense organs, how those diseases can be cured, and what are the precautions to be taken. These are all can be studied in depth in this sense organs chapter in 9th class. Children, up to now we have seen what we have learnt in the previous classes before coming to this 9th class. Thank you.